Gonna let my food digest before I go on my walk, but it's just crazy. Like 1 year ago today, I was in college as a senior, had just failed my first attempt at making money online through an online business. I tried to run like a marketing agency, completely failed. Now 1 year later, like almost exactly 1 year later, I'm running a profitable business. Um, you know, a year ago, that first business, I was honestly just like throwing shit at the wall. Um, Honestly, couldn't have even imagined a client being happy to work with me. Now, 1 year later, my agency, um, we have one client under management that's really happy with our work, which is just crazy to say out loud. It's like my business really does add value to someone's life and to someone else's business. Um, but it really just goes to show like what you can actually do in like a year of actually trying, and I wouldn't even say that in this past year, like if I'm being just completely honest, that I gave it 100%. Like I really wish I could come on here and tell you guys that like I fucking monk moded my way to this for the past year, but like I really didn't, bro. Like I just never gave up. Like I definitely failed a lot along the way. I definitely procrastinated a lot along the way. Definitely made decisions that didn't necessarily help my business. Um, but I'm still here. I still am running this business. Um, it's not like I'm fucking rich or anything like that. I'm living at my parents' house, but you know, I do for a fact have one client under my belt that is happy with the work that we do for them, and it's just crazy. Like, if you guys are like, I'm just thinking back to myself a year ago, still in school. Like, I had no idea what I wanted to do, and thinking back, like I had tons of friends who also don't really know what they want to do, and they just kind of like go with the motions. Let me go to college, let me get a degree, let me just fucking XYZ, let me get a job, whatever, and then let me just do that because that's what I've been told I need to do. But like just like think bigger. Like there's so much opportunity and possibility in life and like what you can really achieve. I'm not saying anything is wrong with 9 to 5 at all. Like I actually sometimes envy people who work a 9 to 5 because like I feel like after 5 o'clock you can just turn your brain off, and I'm jealous of that sometimes. But um, if you're thinking about like what you want to do in life, and you are going down a 9 to 5 path right now, just know that like you can honestly do anything you put your mind to. Like anything. Any like I mean, bro, like this house that I'm sitting in right now, this water bottle, this fucking thing of ketchup that I just ate my breakfast with, like all of this started inside of someone's mind, you know? Like this fucking ketchup bottle right here. It's like organic ketchup, you know? Someone had to think like, hey, like, let me try to make an organic ketchup, put it into a store, hopefully people will buy it, and then hopefully they'll make money. And now I guarantee you whoever Primal Kitchen is, whoever owns that is like a multimillionaire. It's just crazy to think that like everything that's ever made anyone money or anything you've ever used in your life pretty much was made by a man or a woman. It was made by someone, right? Human, right? Any like skyscraper, anything like that, it all started in someone's mind, and then they visualized it and they took the actions necessary to get to, building a building or making organic ketchup or whatever. And that's all it is. And then they had the faith that they could actually make it work. That's really all it is. But yeah, gonna go on a walk soon. My business partner and I just got off a meeting. It's like 2 days after Christmas right now. We're just starting to think about how, we are going to get to the next level. A lot of people who are in the same business that I am, growth operating, landing one client is already amazing. Like it's amazing. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm super excited to work with the people that we work with. I'm super blessed to work with them, and I'm not gonna lie. Like the income potential is definitely there. Not there yet. Once again, I'm living in my fucking parents' house still. I'm still a brokey, but I do now for a fact have like a scalable income that it's really up to me how much money I want to make. Like every client you land, pretty much 1.5x's or 2x's your income, I would say. So right now, my business partner and I, his name's Kobe, we're like trying to figure out how we're gonna outreach to these people, fucking IGDMs. We're trying to get creative and do other things. It's not really working right now, but yeah, 2025 is gonna be crazy. Gonna try to make 20 grand a month. That's my goal. That's why I'm documenting this. I want you guys to see what's possible. I know for a fact by the end of this year I'm gonna make 20 grand a month. If anything, I think I'm lowballing myself. And I want to just like show it. I don't want to do any like flashy edits or anything like that. I just want to show you guys like, that there's people out there who are just like you, just like me, who are doing amazing things. These people aren't special. They're not different from you. They don't have some kind of cheat code. They simply just try and they never give up. And that's one thing that I feel like is super important to know, is that like whenever for me, I'm in Arkansas, right? That's the state I live in. There's not really anybody that I know in my like 22 years of life from Arkansas that is doing, money making online or like entrepreneurship or just like thinking outside of the box into possibilities of life besides working a 9 to 5. So my entire life, all I've known is to go to school and then to get a job. And that's pretty much it, right? Whereas, if I was born, like let's say like Miami, for example, or I was just born somewhere and I was surrounded by people who thought a different way, whether that be business or, literally anything, that's kind of more so of an environment that I like. That's more so like I would adopt that kind of thinking. You know what I mean? So for example, like I adopted this kind of thinking that, getting a 9 to 5, going to school, getting a 9 to 5, starting a family, all that is the normal. So therefore that's my normal, right? Whereas if I were to be born around, into a family of entrepreneurs, for example, or like all of my friends were entrepreneurs growing up, their families were entrepreneurs, maybe I would have grown up thinking a different way, thinking something else is possible and then pursuing that, right? And that's really the only difference between, someone doing one set of actions and another, is just like what they really believe is possible. This is getting very convoluted, I know. And this tangent's not really making any sense. But basically what I'm trying to say is that like what you think is possible, the limit of what you think is possible is relative to what you've seen in your life, right? So if for example, like I was born on a farm, right? And that's all I knew my entire life. I had no Wi-Fi, no service, anything like that, like the Amish. All I would know that's possible in life is to raise, cattle on the farm, tend to my sheep, whatever the fuck, right? Whereas if you were born into like a family of billionaires, right? Building skyscrapers, doing business around the world, that kind of thing, that would be your new set of normal, right? That would be what you can grow into, right? That's kind of like your reality. Therefore, you can pursue that, right? And you know it's possible. Like you can only expand to the capacity that your container allows, right? So think about like this water bottle inside of this container, right? Or this water inside of this water bottle, right? The water can never expand outside of this water bottle because it's limiting, right? So pretend that these are your limiting beliefs, right? The water inside will expand only as big as the container allows, right? So as you expand the container, right, you move out of your hometown. You start networking with people who think differently. You meet people in life who are doing what you want to do outside of your limiting beliefs. Your limiting beliefs, your container, your water bottle will expand, and yourself, the water inside, can expand to the capacity of which the container allows, if that makes sense. I know that probably makes like no fucking sense, but basically what I'm just trying to say is that expand your mind, and the possibilities in life are honestly endless. There was a time where like I literally would have like killed to be where I'm at right now, right? A year ago today, if you would have told me that, I was running a successful business. Once again, my business does not make me that much money. I still live at home, but at the end of the day, it does still make money for me where I don't have to go get a 9 to 5 job. I would literally would have killed for that, because the biggest thing is just knowing that it's possible, and once you I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and this kid was talking about literally this kid 18 years old was talking about how he made 50 grand a month. A year ago I would have probably saw that video and would think oh, this is so clickbait, there's no way this kid makes 50K a month, it's just impossible, right? Because my container, my limiting beliefs were small, right? I was in a small container, right? I couldn't think beyond what my limiting beliefs allowed me to think, right? Now over the past year I've met people who make more than $50,000 a month. I know people my age and younger who make 30, 40, 50 grand a month, so, and I know what it took them to get there. I know what their timeline was like. I know the work they've put in. I know the skill sets that they developed, and now I understand that it's possible, right? So now whenever I watch that video of this kid making 50 grand a month, this 18-year-old kid, I no longer think that's impossible, right? This is clickbait, this is fake. I now think, I now use it as another point of reference as to what is possible, right? Because once again, this kid is, he's wildly successful, of course, but at the end of the day, he's not that much different from me or from you or from really anybody at all, In this video, I was literally watching him. He would make jokes that I would make. He was using the same fucking keyboard that I had. I don't know. It was just fucking weird. It's just weird to think about that, someone so similar to me and to you as well, can be so wildly successful, right? But yeah, now I'm in a vehicle in my business right now that I know what it would take to make 20 grand a month. I know what it would make to make 50 grand or what it would take to make 50 grand a month, right? I understand now that it is possible. And that's because in the past year, my limiting beliefs have changed, and my container has changed, my container has expanded, and the water inside me can now grow to new capacities, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, yeah, just think bigger. You can do so much more. Not everybody online is lying to you. Some of them definitely are, okay? But yeah, about to go on a walk. Just thought I wanted to share that thought with you guys. Think bigger in life. But yeah. So before I go on this walk, I wanted to kind of just explain to you guys how I kind of got to where I am today, running a profitable business, right? One that I think definitely has potential to make me 20 or 30 grand a month, if not more. But basically, a lot of people getting into making money online will get into, a couple different things, right? Trading, e-commerce, online sales. Those are kind of the three off the top of my head, right? I went with online sales. Okay. So with online sales, you go from, in theory, becoming a setter, right? You set deals for a closer, for the closer to close the deals, right? So I worked as a setter for a large company that did $1 million a month. Okay. So I set deals for someone who was a closer. That closer would close the deals, right? So I would call someone on the phone. I'd be like, hey, what's up, whatever. And then I would set the appointment hey, do you want to jump on a call with, John, and you guys can talk more about, this deal, right? John would then jump on the call with, Bob, who I just set that appointment with John for. They get on there. John, gets to know the guy, pitches him, and then closes the deal. Hence, he's a closer, right? And then me, the setter, and John, the closer, we both get commission on that deal, right? If it closes. So that's kind of the route I went. I worked as a setter for a large, like, $1 million a month company. I got that by networking with my roommates in college. My roommate's little brother, actually, he got me that job. I'm super, super grateful to have met him, um, and all that. He set me up there. I worked as a setter for like probably like 5 months, just learning about, info product and how to be a sales rep, how to be a top tier sales rep, learning about systems, learning about the business, the back end, all that kind of stuff. I then moved on to be a closer for a couple months. After like 6 months of being a setter, I was a closer for a while as well. At that point, like, I just kind of learned how to close. I kind of understood more about like the business, the back end of the business, the systems, the management, all that. The skill that I was missing at that point was being a closer and learning how to actually close the deals, right? So then I became John, right? Someone would set the deals for me. I would get on the call with them as the closer, try to close the deal. If I close the deal, I would get commission, and the setter who set the deal would get commission, right? But I feel like the importance of understanding like my story for someone who is trying to replicate is just that, like, all you have to do is learn a high income skill, right? And then take that high income skill to make money, right? I know that sounds like fucking obviously, right? But think about if you wanted to become a chef, right? How much would it benefit you to go work for Gordon Ramsay for 1 year? If you wanted to run a successful restaurant one day, right? Like a largely successful restaurant, how much would it benefit you to go work for Gordon Ramsay for 1 year? A lot, like a lot, obviously, right? You're going to learn all about, inventory management, managing the front of the business, the back of the business, how to, I don't know, how to make food come out on time, all the like little logistical things, right? So if you guys are trying to like replicate someone like me who has a successful business, or like, someone who has like a successful like $1 million business, for example, $10 million business, all you have to do is ask who, not how, right? So don't ask how can I learn how to do that? How can I learn that high income skill? Ask who can I learn from that I can learn that high income skill from, right? To then go on and start my own business. So for example, me, literally I did this. Instead of asking like, okay, I saw these 20-year-olds making millions of dollars online. I'm like, okay, how do I do that? I'm never going to figure out how to do that on my own, probably, right? I could, but it's going to take me like years and years. So instead, I asked, who do I know, right? Who do I know that, can teach me how to do that? The answer was nobody. Okay, I knew nobody. So what did I do? I got creative. Okay, I pulled from my network. So, out of everybody, I guarantee you, look through their Instagram followers, their Instagram followings. They know somebody, who can help you get to the next step. You just have to be creative, and you really have to want to find it. So for me, like, I wasn't that good of friends with my roommate's little brother, right? Who was 2 years younger than us at college, right? But like I did know him and I knew what he was doing. So instead of asking like, okay, how can I get to the next level of learning how to make millions of dollars or even $10,000 online, whatever it may be, I asked, okay, who do I know? Okay, well, my roommate's little brother does that. Okay, so I'm going to ask him, about that. I learned from, kind of about what he was doing, and he was able to get me a job inside of the company, right? As like a low-level grunt, as a setter. Okay, so from there, you go into the business. That's what I did. I went into the business. I learned all about sales, right? Everything I needed to know about setting, closing, managing a sales team, all that. And then I learned the skills of being a setter, right? I learned how to be the best setter in the company. I did that, right? I learned how to be one of the best closers in the company. I did that, okay? From that point, instead of me just like, being comfortable being a closer, full transparency, as a closer, my best month ever in October, I made $10,000, okay? But instead of me just like being happy with that, I knew that like I could have easily been a closer there for a couple more months, saved up like another, 20, 30 grand or something like that, which honestly probably was smarter. But how I saw it in my head was that I already was a setter. I was a closer. I managed some of the sales team, and I learned about the business. So I knew everything that went into making a $10 million a year business. So with that, I left the company because I learned everything that I could have learned from that company, right? And then me and my business partner took what we knew, took what we learned from that business, and just started helping other businesses with a problem that we knew we could solve from what we learned at our past business, or for working for the company that we worked for, right? Like him and I were both in the same company. We learned everything there. We were like, okay, there's companies out there that are smaller that are only doing like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month that we know that we could help them get to like a tenth, right? So like we're helping companies get to $100,000 a month, right? The company we work for does $1 million a month. So if we can help a company do 1/10 of the amount of money that we did at our company, right? We were in the trenches doing the work. We can get paid for that, we can get paid handsomely for that. So basically, like, if you're trying to figure out how to make money online or like emulate success that someone else has had or something like that, instead of like being envious or jealous, like you really can, like, success leaves blueprints, right? Like you can literally like see what they did and kind of reverse engineer it. So for example, if you want to be like a drop shipper, okay? If you want to be a drop shipper, right? Instead of asking, how do I do this? Looking everything up on YouTube, find someone, right, on Instagram or in your real life, which you probably don't know anyone who does drop shipping, but find someone on Instagram who does drop shipping, okay? And ask if you can work for them for free. You know what I mean? Ask if you can just provide them any value, learn to work, learn on someone else's dime, right? There's tons of people out there who are doing drop shipping. Not all of them have 100K and a blue check mark, okay? You'd be surprised how many people out there have like 900 followers making like 50 grand a month, So once again, you got to get creative. You got to join communities and find people, but they're out there if you want to find them. So once again, for example, you want to do drop shipping, right? You have no idea where to find anybody. Join some free drop shipping communities, okay? Network with people inside of there. Find someone who's making like 5 grand a month in drop shipping, 1 grand a month in drop shipping, something like that, right? And just ask them, be like, hey, like, can I work for you for free? Is there anything I can do for your business that you don't want to do, and I'll just do it for free? That way you can learn about the business. You can learn directly from someone who's making $1,000 a month in drop shipping, $5,000 a month in drop shipping, $10,000 a month in drop shipping, right? From then, let's say you go find someone who's making 5 grand a month in drop shipping, okay? You work for them for free. They're like, okay, whatever, do all this little tasks for me, right? While you're working there for free, right? Working there for free, you get to learn about how his business operates, how he's able to make 5 grand a month. You get to see behind the scenes, right? You get to ask someone directly who is making 5 grand a month doing what you want to do, right? From there, you learn everything there is to know inside of the business, okay? Then you go do it yourself. That's it. Or you just kind of keep repeating that process. After you've worked for someone who does 5 grand a month, maybe find someone who does 20. And then you can provide them some real value because you actually know things about the industry, right? You go in there, work for someone who makes 20 grand a month, learn exactly how they do it, and then you just replicate it instead of trying to figure it out on your own, right? That's exactly what I did, right? Now I'm running a business. Don't make that crazy amount of money yet. But now I'm able to see the potential, right? And it was all because I asked who, not how, right? I learned a skill set. I learned how to run a business that does $10 million a year, right? And I took what I learned and now I go do it on my own. That's all I did, right? But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I'm getting better at talking to a camera. About to go on a walk. Deuces.